Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, this is Reads with Lauren, and it's absolutely fantastic to have you here with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a little while, it's been a hot minute. I don't know if you can tell, the environment is different. I have recently moved house, it's finally all unpacked, and I am fighting off what I believe to be COVID. My daughter had it last week, and even though I am continuing to test negative, I'm not feeling like I should be testing negative. So, because it's been a hot minute and I'm not feeling 100%, I thought this is probably a good opportunity to jump on and give you a bit of an update about what's been happening in my life, what's been happening in the reading space, what's been happening in my media space, because I have been ingesting media in a slightly different way the last couple of weeks due to health, moving house, a Melbourne trip. Grab your cuppa, have a seat, and let's chat. Let's chat about what's been happening the last few weeks. If you can tell, I am wearing a cardigan, which means that I am in my element. I am so happy. Last night we had a crazy storm that was so loud it woke my 13-year-old. And yeah, today is absolutely divine. The weather is beautiful. So I'm curled up with my coffee, my cardigan, my daughter's cup, because it's a great cup. You'll have to excuse me because I'm not feeling 100% and I just sat down and pressed record. So I don't know where this is going to head. Let's start with updates. So, as you can tell, my hair is slowly growing out. I need to shave the sides again, and I haven't re-bleached it, and all of the purple is gone. But my daughter tells me that I am, embracing the inner hedgehog, which works for me. So, it's become a length that I'm not really sure what to do with it. So I'm kind of just letting it do its thing. But yeah, I'm really, really happy that it's growing out, because despite the fact that shaving my head was, a once in a lifetime thing that I've always wanted to do, I don't know that I'll do it again. I miss my long hair. But yeah, so what else can I tell you? So I'm all settled into my new house. It is tiny. It's a teeny tiny little place, especially compared to my last house. But it's nice to step away from the negative memories in the old house, because I was there for such a long time and went through quite some traumatic experiences in some pretty toxic relationships. So I'm all settled into this new place. It's tiny, it's beautiful, and yeah, I mean, I got to do a lot of retail therapy to get this house where I wanted it. I had the money, so I thought, why not? So I've bought cupboards, I've bought desks, I am the flat pack queen now. Let's just say, there was some tears, there was some frustrated moments, but yeah, everything is looking really, really good, and I'm really happy with it. You'll notice that I no longer have rainbow bookshelves. This may not stay this way. I am sure that the rainbow will return at some point. I was thinking of trying to change it up. And don't get me wrong, I like it. I like the way that it is right now. And I will give you a little bit of a breakdown of how the bookshelf is looking. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about all the height difference, but I'm also not sure how to counteract that and what would be the best way to do it. Because if I do them in height order, they won't be in series order. And that's frustrating for me. So if you've got any ideas of how you sort out your bookshelves in order for them to look aesthetically pleasing, please let me know. But yeah, I do miss the rainbow bookshelves. I was thinking actually on the drive back from school drop off that maybe it would be a good idea to bring at least one shelf back to rainbow. So here are my bookshelves. We've got the graphic novels and the anime up the top, as well as some of the non-fiction. And then in this shelf, we've got a couple of my favorites. So we've got the Jodie Taylor books. My plan is to obviously have this entire shelf as Jodie Taylor. but eventually we'll get there. And then we've got a couple of my favorites, a couple of books that I'm sure I will love, the Maggie O'Farrell's, My Dark Vanessa, which was brilliant. And then we've got a couple of the memoirs that I have read and enjoyed. Over here, we've got some of my old series, some of my favorites from when I was a teenager. We've got The Vampire Academy, which I reread recently, and it still slaps. It's still great. Claudia Gray's Evernight series, I did try rereading that, and I got one book in and had to take a big break because I struggled with it. But I'm keeping the books anyway, and I do plan on reading the rest of them again because I haven't actually read Balthazar or Fateful. And then we've got my Stephen King books, which I am hoping to grow as well. I need to get my own copy of 11/22/63 because that is one of my all-time favorites. Then we've got my shelf of Cassandra Clare. This was my favorite series as a teenager. I did recently reread them. Not my favorite books anymore, but they are still very good and I still enjoy them. Then we've got our Brando Sando. I've got a little bit of space having these books up the top, which means that, you know, despite the fact that I'm on a book buying ban, if for some reason more books come into my vicinity, I will have space for them. And then the rest is alphabetical order. So I've gone alphabetical by a last name, and you can see there's a couple of little spots there for more books. If I do pick up more, I'm hoping that they will just be from free little libraries. I don't want to keep spending money on books right now. I need to stick to this ban. I haven't separated the books from like books I've read and books I've unread. They're just in alphabetical order at this point. But, you know, this will probably change. But yeah, that's my new setup. I'm really happy. Having these ones up the top means I have a lot more space. They're not all packed in together and getting damaged. So yeah, that's that. We'll see how long this lasts, but I am happy with it. I mean, the height difference is annoying, but I'm sure I can also work through that. I haven't done nearly as much reading as I would have liked this month, which is a bit of a shame because I have a massive haul to share with you, and I was hoping to at least have read this many books before buying more, but I had a gift voucher. It was from Christmas for one of our bookstore chains in Australia. However, the local one, it was very, very low on stock. So I thought that I would save it for Melbourne because last week I went to Melbourne with my brother for a surgery consultation, which was great. We had a great time. We had the best Italian food ever. And yeah, just had a really, really great time. We also went to this little store called My Kiki both nights that we were there because it was just so funny and my brother was so embarrassed. And it's this little Waffle House, but it's for adults only. So I'll just leave that for you to ponder on. But it was very fun, and the whole experience, the whole trip was great and something that was really needed after the move. It kind of sucked that I came back to a COVID positive child, but that's okay. So yeah, I'll show you the haul in a little while, but also, you know, there's been a lot of purchases. I don't know if you can tell in my glasses, but I finally got a ring light so that the lighting looks a little bit better. I hope that it will be, you know, worth the money. It's really exciting to kind of finally be professional. So let's talk media. Let's talk some of the shows that I've been watching lately. I am not much of a TV show kind of person. After, you know, being too tired to read, I have been trying to work my way through some TV shows that I've been meaning to watch, and I'm having a great time, to be honest with you. It started with One Day, the new TV show on Netflix, and I hadn't seen the movie, but it's been on my to-watch list for such a long time. And now I definitely want to read the book because the TV show was so good. It did take me a little while to get into it, but I ended up watching the whole season in one day. So that tells you that it was really, really good. And I knew the spoilers at the end. I won't share them with you, but I kind of knew what was going to happen, but it still didn't remove the impact. It was so heart-wrenching and so beautiful, and I thought the acting was so wonderful. So it's one that I highly, highly recommend if you haven't checked it out already. I also watched The Last of Us, finally. Considering my obsession with Pedro, I am surprised that I haven't watched it sooner. But it was so good. I really loved it, although the fungus growing was so... Ugh. I did not enjoy that part. But it's okay because Pedro is in it. And if you haven't watched it already, I do recommend it, especially if you like post-apocalyptic sort of zombie themed shows. Really, really good. And at the moment, I am watching Euphoria. It's been on my list for years. And season 1, I watched in a day, and I'm currently working my way through season 2. I obviously, with the ratings and the content, it's not something I can watch with my children around. So I have been pacing the second season out, but wow, what a ride. What an absolute ride. I am thoroughly enjoying it. But I did not realize the extent of the drama. And I mean, I do love a little bit of drama if I'm not involved. So I am really, really enjoying it. But yeah, so that's the media that I've been watching lately. And it's been really fun. And I think that, you know, it's probably something that I'm going to start doing a bit more, watching a bit more television. But also I don't want it to cut into my reading time as much as it has been. But I've just been so tired with the unpacking and the Melbourne trip, and I've started a new remote job 1 day a week. I also was meant to start another job this week, but with the symptoms, thought it was probably best to put that off for a little while. But it's all happening. It's all happening, and I've been exhausted, so I haven't been reading nearly as much. Watching the TV shows has been a really nice change, and it's been a nice way to really actually zen and just blah on the couch and just enjoy. But in saying that, there has been some books that I have read, and I will be doing a wrap up at the end of the month. However, today, let's go through the books that I hauled. I'll chuck in some B-roll of my experience in the Melbourne Dimmicks, because that place is my Roman empire. I think about that bookstore every single day. I love that bookstore so much, and every time I'm in Melbourne, I ensure that I am going there for a visit. I did break my book buying ban. However, I had a gift voucher. So we're not going to talk about the fact that my voucher was for $30 and I spent $200. I figured that, you know, since I had the gift voucher, I might as well just buy and enjoy. And I did limit myself. Hard to believe, I know, but especially when you see the pile of books that I have, I did limit myself because I wanted to buy so many more. I'll also chuck in some B-roll of my unpacking my bookcase. I did record a little bit of that. It was in sort of a different order when I started packing them onto the bookshelves, and I didn't record the second round of changing the books, but I found that those sort of clips on YouTube are really relaxing, so I'll add a little bit of that in here as well. haul, shall we? This is my little stack. Yeah, spent a bit of money, but all worth it, I think. I did go to 2 bookstores, so I did, I really did bend the rules of my book buying ban for the year. But this is it. This is it. For the rest of the year, at least for the next few months, let's be honest. I won't be buying any more books, and I will be working through my book collection and doing a lot more read or unhaul challenges, so stay tuned for that. But let's start with some non-fiction. So I'll start with a book that I was gifted by my new boss. A boss doesn't feel right when I say that, because she's more like a mentor, and I'm really, really honored and blessed to be able to help her on her journey with her business. But yeah, I'm now working for her 1 day a week from home, and I'm absolutely loving it. And she's been someone I've known for a few years, and I'm just really, really, I'm feeling very blessed. I'm feeling very blessed to be in this situation where I'm with someone who is not only passionate about her job, but is also passionate about, other people growing. And so one of the gifts that she gave me was The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Because I haven't done any prep, I will probably be reading from the back of these books, but we'll enjoy that experience together, I'm sure. So The War of Art, break through the blocks and win your inner creative battles. I'm really excited to read this because it's little. I'll be able to get it through it in one sitting, I think, but also I think that there's going to be some stuff in here that will require some processing and some journaling, which I'm really excited about because I love self-development. And so the back says, do you dream about writing the great American novel? Not American, but maybe an Australian one. That could be in my future. I'd like to. Do you regret not finishing your paintings, poems, or screenplays? Do you want to start a business or charity? Do you wish you could start dieting or exercising today? Do you hope to run a marathon someday? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need The War of Art. In this powerful, straight-from-the-hip examination of the internal obstacles to success, best-selling author Stephen Pressfield shows readers how to identify, defeat, and unlock the inner barriers to creativity. The War of Art is an inspirational, funny, well-aimed kick in the pants guaranteed to galvanize every would-be artist, visionary, or entrepreneur. When it was gifted to me, I was told that there is a lot of little moments in here that really make you think. So I'm really, really excited to read that one. Moving on. I bought this one at the book grocer, and it is How to Argue with a Racist: History, Science, Race and Reality by Adam Rutherford. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but unfortunately there are still people in this world that are racist and homophobic and transphobic and just generally hate and condemn people just for existing. And that infuriates me. So I thought that this would be a really, really good read. And there's a lot of comments on the back talking about how this is the ultimate anti-racism guide for data lovers everywhere. I love data. Data's my favorite. So I feel like this is going to be a really good insight into information that I can use to argue in the future, because I have been in situations where I have been confronted with people who are throwing their agenda in my face. Unfortunately, even in relationships, I feel like this is going to have some really good information to help back up my support for people just existing in this world and for everybody being equal. It also says it's a fascinating and timely refutation of the casual racism on the rise around the world. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to get into this one. I had a huge pile of books to read that I wanted to buy in the store, and I ended up having to get rid of a couple just so I could purchase this one and, stay under $200, because considering I wasn't meant to be buying anything, I thought that would be a good limit. So yeah, so excited to read this one. It also says nobody deals with challenging subjects more interestingly and compellingly than Adam Rutherford, and this may be his best book yet, by Bill Bryson. And I really enjoyed Bill Bryson. I read, what's it called? A Brief Guide to Nearly Everything, or, you know, something along those lines. Please don't quote me. And really, really loved that. It had so much scientific stuff in it and just facts, and you know, it was just fascinating stuff. So yeah, really excited to read this one. It's really high on my list of books to read. The next one, there was two that I was tossing up between, and the titles were so similar, and I just didn't know which one to get. And I think I ended up getting this one because the other book was really sort of focused on hysteria and the outbreak of syphilis and all of that. And I thought, no, I really am more fascinated about the mind in general. So I ended up picking up How the Mind Changed, A Human History of Our Evolving Brain by Joseph Gibelli, which is, it sounds so good. I'm so excited. Let's read the back together. Our minds are changing. They've been changing for nearly 7 million years. What these changes were, how they affect us today, and where they may lead us in the future is the subject of this book. There are many ways of telling the brain's story, with scholars from almost all scientific disciplines weighing in. There are accounts of the brain from anatomists, anthropologists, archaeologists, geneticists, genomicists, primatologists, psychologists, zoologists, and most intimately from individuals who share their stories of the way their brain affects their lives. The history you hold in your hands will touch on all these fields, but above all, I want this book to deliver neuroscience's most uplifting message, that we all have the power to change our minds for the better. And that's something that I am always trying to succeed in doing. Because the truth is, none of us is born unintelligent, unfeeling, or unmoored from the world. These states are imposed on us by the societies we create. Minds make societies, but societies also make minds. How good does that sound? I'm so excited. This is another one that I just cannot wait to read. I'm fascinated with the brain and what makes us tick and how we function and why we function the way we do. And so really excited to read this one. That's the nonfiction books. And I have picked up a couple of books that I'm so excited about, because if you've been on this channel for a while, you'll know that I am a huge fan of Jodie Taylor, and I've been looking for her books everywhere, and I found them. I found a couple of them, and the timing was perfect because I had actually just finished book 13 in the St. Mary's Chronicles, and I picked up book 14 in hard copy, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I've been looking for these everywhere. And as soon as my book buying ban is gone, I am buying the box set of the first 10 books, because I just love these books so much. Look, they're not perfect, but they're so funny and they're so good. I read it in 4 days, and which isn't, that's not fast for me, but it's fast for me in this mode where I'm, you know, also working and moving and going to Melbourne and being unwell and all of the things. So, and it was really good. It was one of my favorites, actually. She branches out of St. Mary's in this, and she starts working somewhere else, and there's this big sort of scheme that ends up being found out, and she ends up getting involved and fixing it, and so good. I could talk about Jodie Taylor for hours and hours and hours, and I probably will do a video very soon about them now that I have finished the Chronicles of St. Mary's, apart from a couple of short stories. But yes, I will definitely be rereading these in the future, and I will be buying them in hard copy, and they will be like up there with my Brandon Sanderson books, because I just love it. It's got so many serious topics that they branch into. It's just, there's so much history. It's fascinating and so much fun and just a ride, and I'm so glad that I finished the series, and I just love them. And yeah, I already want to start from the start again. However, I won't, because if you've watched a previous video, you'll know that I started with the Time Police series, which is actually a spin-off of the St. Mary's Chronicles, and I read this book and realized that there was a lot of background that I wasn't aware of, so I needed to go back and read the Chronicles. And now that I have, I picked up a copy of Doing Time, so I'll be rereading this so soon. In fact, I want to read it right now. I want to press stop and start reading this right now because when I read it the first time, I loved it. But now that I have all the background context with the St. Mary's Chronicles, I am so pumped to get into this. This is a spin-off. It goes into the Time Police, which are another organization that travel in time. However, they do not go back to record time. They go back to fix all of the mistakes that have been made since time travel has become an option for everybody. So sort of prior to the Time Police coming about, time travel became legal and people started going back and changing all of these things and creating all of these bubbles, time bubbles and wormholes and lots of problems. So the Time Police were created to go back and fix these things and go back and find these people. And it's so good. One of the main characters in this series is the child of some of the main characters within the St. Mary's Chronicles. So I'm so excited to reread this, and I will be rereading it very, very soon. So much happens. They're so fast paced. So yeah, can't recommend them enough, but I will stop talking about it because every time I start talking about it on this channel, I can't shut up. Next is another manga that I picked up. I have been reading the Monster series and this is volume 5. It was so hard to not pick up all of the rest of them. I didn't want to just buy the whole series of Monster, considering this was probably the only opportunity that I would get to purchase some new books for the foreseeable future. But yes, I picked up volume 5. I read it on the train in one sitting. It's really good. The whole series is amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on the rest of it. And I need to watch the rest of the anime because the anime is just as good. Then I bought a couple of books that I hadn't really heard of before, but they looked really, really good. I say that, but I've heard a little bit about this one and I was really excited to pick this one up, and that is Hench by Natalie Zena Walshotz. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. This sounds so good because I am sort of an office admin kind of junkie. I really enjoy working in that space. In fact, if you don't know, the 2 jobs that I am doing are in the office admin space, but I also have a side hustle that is purely just office support. That's how much I love it. But this is about a woman named Anna who actually is an admin officer for criminals. So I'll read a bit of the back for you because it's quite a big blurb. But it's basically this anti-superhero tale about Anna, and Anna does boring things for terrible people because even criminals need office help and she needs a job. Working for a monster lurking beneath the surface of the world isn't glamorous, but is it really worse than working for an oil conglomerate or an insurance company? Valid point. As a temp, Anna's just a cog in the machine, but when she finally gets a promising assignment, everything goes very wrong. And an encounter with the so-called hero leaves her badly injured, and to her horror, compared to the other bodies strewn about, she's the lucky one. So of course then she gets laid off. With no money and no mobility and only her anger and internet research acumen, Anna discovers that her suffering at the hands of a hero is far from unique. When people start listening to the story that her data tells, she realizes she might not be as powerless as she thinks. I need some coffee. This is the bit that gets me really excited because the key to everything is data, knowing how to collate it, how to manipulate it, and how to weaponize it. By tallying up the human cost these caped forces of nature wreak upon the world, she discovers that the line between good and evil is mostly marketing. And with social media and viral videos, she can control that appearance. It's not too long before Anna's employed once more, this time by one of the worst villains on Earth. As she becomes an increasingly valuable lieutenant, she might just save the world. A sharp, witty modern debut, Hench explores the individual cost of justice through a fascinating mix of millennial office politics, heroism measured through data science, body horror, and a profound misunderstanding of quantum mechanics. I cannot wait to read this. It's going to be so good. So yeah, that's Hench, and I got it really cheap as well, which is really exciting. The next book that I got, this was also one that was on special and I had to pick it up because it was like $6. I thought, I can't not. It's a queer romance and you know I love those, and it is called Best Men by Sydney Carger. I've heard nothing about this book, but I love the cover. I thought it was so pretty, and when you say queer romance, I'm down. When Max makes out with a hot stranger on a Manhattan rooftop, he's mortified to be bolting back down the 12 flights of stairs just 5 minutes later. So the last person he wants to turn up at his best friend's wedding, where he is official gay of honor to the bride, is that very same hot stranger, or for him to be a best man too for the groom. Now the co-best men are in a fight to the death over who will be the actual best. But although Max wants to keep his friends close, he discovers he wants to keep his enemy even closer. That sounds really cute. I'm really excited. It does have also, Ashley Herring-Blake said that it's a sexy, swoony summer love story to get lost in, and we do like a little bit of Ashley Herring-Blake in our life. Another romance that I picked up is one that has a note on it saying, I feel the same way as when I first read One Day. And because I watched the TV show recently, that was almost an instant, like, I need to pick this up. Impossible by Sarah Lotz. It says, sometimes love doesn't come in the form you think it will. Nick, failed writer, failed husband, and dog owner. B, serial dater, dressmaker, and Pringles enthusiast. Can relate. One day their paths cross over a misdirected email. The connection is instant, electric. They feel like they've known each other all their lives. Nick buys a new suit, gets on a train. B steps away from her desk, sets off to meet him under the clock at Euston Station. Think you know how the rest of the story goes? They did too. But this is a story with more twists than most. This is impossible. I hope that it gives me the same feels as when I watched One Day, because that was so good. So good. And last, but certainly not least, Mr. Brando Sando, he does it again. He's just released Secret Project number 4, and that is The Sunlit Man. And of course I had to pick it up. I have been listening to his weekly updates, and when he said that this had been properly released, I was so excited and I went and picked it up straight away. A character named Nomad who skips through the Cosmere from one world to the next. And if you have read any of Brandon Sanderson's work, then you'll know about some of the characters that have been doing that throughout each book so far, the little Easter eggs of the same characters being in all of these different worlds. So I'm hoping that this will delve into how that happens a bit more, and I'm really excited to read it. It sounds really good, and I love Brandon Sanderson, but also like I love that he just gives us so much. Despite the fact that he said that this was going to be the last of the secret projects and he was going to slow down this year, 3 months in and he's already announced another secret project. So I'm so bloody excited. And I was watching his weekly update today and he was saying that he is going to be releasing an excerpt from the next secret project in the next couple of days. So can't wait. Can't wait. I'm never going to catch up with his work because he writes so fast. I think that he'll be releasing more books than I'll be able to read this year. Like this man is a genius, and this man is obsessed with writing, and I am so happy about it because I just love him. Picked up The Sunlit Man. I haven't picked up Tress of the Emerald Sea or the Wizard's Frugal Guide to Wizardry, I think it's called. I don't know. It was the other secret project, but I do have Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which I will be reading very soon as well. But this one just sounded really exciting because it does delve into the world jumping, which is something that intrigues me. That's it. That is the books that I hauled recently, despite my book buying ban. Thank you so much for being here with me, and please let me know in the comments if you have bought any new books recently, if you've read any of the books that I picked up on my journeys, and just what you've been up to in the last few weeks. I'm really glad that I've done this because I've really missed recording and I've missed chatting with you guys in the comments, and I'm super excited to find out what you guys have been reading and what you've been enjoying, and I'm hoping to get back into my normal routine of releasing a couple of videos a week. Obviously starting a new job next week, COVID pending. I will probably be still busy for the next couple of weeks, but I'm really excited to continue this, and I was starting to lose confidence in my abilities to record and to edit and to upload. So I thought this is why I just had to jump on and just start chatting to you guys and, press that record button. Otherwise, I would have lost my nerve again. And I get so much joy out of this. So I hope you get a lot of joy out of watching it. And thank you for joining me on this journey so far. And I hope that you continue on this journey with me. I have some great ideas. I'm just looking at my whiteboard near my desk and I have so many great ideas for videos that I have written down. So I'm super excited to get started on those. But if you have any ideas of videos that you'd like me to do or anything that you'd like me to talk about a bit more, any books that you have, an interest in that you'd like to read alongside with me, let's do it. Just let me know in the comments. I have some grand plans in the future to get onto all of the other social media channels and potentially start a book club, which is something that I would love to do. I've been wanting to get into a book club for ages, and what better way than to start your own. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed your hot beverage as much as I did. I mean, I'm only halfway through it, but it's delicious, so that's fine. I'm now off to reconcile some accounts and eat some breakfast and potentially some marshmallows, because I also bought myself a housewarming gift of some gourmet marshmallows from the Marshmallow Company, and they're divine. So that will be the rest of my day, and then I will be continuing to watch Euphoria. So really excited about that. Enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I hope to chat to you very, very soon. Goodbye, my darlings.